We are now being live streamed on YouTube. So, hello and welcome to anyone watching on YouTube. Now, this is the issue of trying to get a camera shot which has me and the table of many things in. Okay. It's not going to work. Anyway, welcome everyone. This is our regular monthly Ryaku Fusatsu ceremony on the full moon for recommitting to the precepts. And today, as most of you know, is a even more special day because it is the actual day of Rohats, of the Buddha's. I read this in different places. Some places say the Buddha was sat under the Bodhi tree for 49 days. Others say 7 days. And the Rohats retreat is traditionally started 7 days before Rohats. So it kind of simulates either the week-long sit or the last week sit, if we go with the 49 days, up to the day where he attained awakening and saw the morning star and said, or as was recorded, he said in the Denkaroku, I, together with all beings, attain awakening. So, we're going to begin the ceremony, as always, with a short period of Zazen. So, prepare to sit. begin the ceremony with offering of incense. I'll be performing the ceremony from a seated position. And after the incense offering, there will be uh, prostrations. So you're welcome either to do full prostrations or to remain seated and just do a deep bow from there. The great precepts of Gautama Buddha were kept by all Buddhas. They were transmitted from Buddha to Buddha, and they were received by ancestor after ancestor. Our great master Gautama Buddha transmitted the precepts to Master Mahakasyapa. Master Mahakasyapa transmitted the precepts to Master Ananda, and the transmission of the precepts has continued in this way, passing from orthodox successor to orthodox successor in one line. Now we reaffirm our commitment to the precepts to return the profound benevolence of Gautama Buddha. We trust this to be the true reception of Gautama Buddha's wisdom and life. Respectfully following the approval of Gautama Buddha, we would like to devote ourselves to the precepts, beginning with atoning for past misdeeds. And since atonement is a big part of this ceremony, we recite the verse of atonement 3 times. And you're welcome, if you wish, to add a bow or a prostration after each verse. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind. Now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. We continue by invoking the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas with hands in Gasho as symbols of our devotion to the precepts and the embodiment of them. Homage to the 7 Buddhas of the past as symbols of our connection through time. Homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, a person of this earth. Homage to Miroku Buddha, symbol of hope for the future. Homage to Monju Bodhisattva, symbol of great wisdom. Homage to Fugan Bodhisattva, symbol of great activity. Homage to Kanzeon Bodhisattva, symbol of great compassion. Homage to the successive generations of ancestor Bodhisattvas. Sometimes this part of the ceremony doesn't feel particularly Buddhist to me. It feels like something from Hinduism or some other Shinto or something, but then I remember as well the human capacity to respond to ceremony and to symbolism, and I guess it has its place. So now for the water of purification, where we're symbolically sprinkling water over our foreheads, either with a piece of greenery or our fingers. And that's a sign, after we've atoned, to release what has gone before and wipe the slate clean for what's coming next. In reality, of course, that slate's been wiped clean every second, but it's still a nice symbolic act. So if you take your greenery in your fingers and dip it in your water, real or imagined, you can just flick that over your forehead. And now we can begin our recommittal to the precepts. And that begins with a traditional recitation from the Brahma's Net Sutra, the Brahmajala Sutra, in Japanese, Bonmokyo. All of you disciples, join your palms in reverence and listen wholeheartedly. Everyone gasho. I would now like to articulate the preface to the great precepts of the Buddhas. If members of the Sangha will quietly listen, and they know they have done wrong, they will atone. If they atone, they will be at ease. If they do not repent, their wrongdoing will grow more grievous. Those who have done wrong are silent, and because of their silence, you should know they are purified. Worthy monks, laymen, laywomen, and the rest, listen well. In this difficult age, when the lifetime of the Buddha sometimes seems distant, you should revere the Pratimoksha. The Pratimoksha is none other than these precepts. When you observe these precepts, it is like darkness meeting with light, like someone poor attaining a treasure, like someone who is ill being healed. It is like a prisoner being released from his chains, like a traveler who is able to return home. You should know that these rules are the great teacher for this assembly, no different from the presence of the Buddha in the world here and now. Thoughts of fear are difficult to produce. Unwholesome thoughts are difficult to give rise to. Therefore our sutra says, do not trivialize minor misdeeds as if they are not problematic. Drops of water, though tiny, will gradually fill a large basin. A single instant of wrongdoing can lead you to fall into a hell of uninterrupted suffering. Once you lose your human body, you may not get another for 10,000 kalpas. Just as a galloping horse passes by swiftly, one's physical strength will not remain. The transience of human life goes beyond the mountains and seas. Even if something remains for the duration of one day, it will be difficult to hold on to it tomorrow. Members of the assembly should each energetically advance their own minds. Be careful not to be lazy, negligent, drowsy, or arbitrary. In the evening you must gather your thoughts and focus them firmly on the three treasures. Don't take as being a waste of time the effort to deepen your repentance for those of later generations. Members of the assembly, each of you in your own mind should carefully rely on these precepts. Discipline yourselves in the practices that accord with the Buddha's teachings. We now recommit to the 16 precepts of the Zen tradition, beginning with the 3 refuges. Respectful devotion to Buddha, respectful devotion to Dharma, respectful devotion to Sangha. Devotion to Buddha, the Supreme One. Devotion to Dharma, the supreme purity. Devotion to Sangha, the supreme community. Perfect devotion to Buddha, perfect devotion to Dharma, perfect devotion to Sangha. And we continue with the 3 pure precepts. Today we reaffirm our commitments to seek as we can in this body and life to avoid doing harm, to seek as we can in this body and life to live in a healthful and helping way, doing good, to seek as we can in this body and life to live for the benefit of all sentient beings. And now the 10 fundamental precepts. Today we reaffirm our commitment to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from the killing of life, to seek as we can in this body and life to live in generosity and refrain from taking the not given, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from misusing sexuality and all desire, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from false and malicious speech, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from intoxication in its many forms, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from unconstructively criticizing the errors and faults of others, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from praising ourselves and judging others, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from stinginess in bestowing the Buddhist teachings and all precious things, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from all anger, to seek as we can in this body and life to refrain from disparaging the 3 treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. We now recite the 4 Bodhisattva vows 3 times as we usually do. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable. Abiding in this ephemeral world, may we exist in muddy water with purity like a lotus. Nothing escapes the boundless mind. Thus we bow to Buddha. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reaffirming our commitments to the precepts, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, to the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all the Arhats and Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, and their relations throughout the Dharma worlds. May our sincere vows to accomplish and live the enlightened way be realized together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita. Sorry, I think I threw in a few extra prostrations you might not have been waiting for. Thank you so much for coming for this. We will now have a recitation of the women ancestors, but don't feel obliged to stay if you need to go or it's chanting ancestors isn't your thing. So I'll give a couple of minutes, and if anyone wants to go, that's fine. Otherwise, we will be reciting the women ancestors. The Dharma passes from ancestor to ancestor, transmitted from warm hand to warm hand. We now remember the successive generations of Buddhas and ancestors who transmitted the flame. Rajna Paramita Dayosho, Mother of all Buddhas. Mahamaya Dayosho, Birth Mother of Buddha. Yasodhara Dayosho, Wife of Buddha. Mahapajapati Gautami Dayosho, adopted mother of Buddha and founder of the nun Sangha. Srimala Dayosho, mother of all lay disciples. Kema Dayosho, Sundari Nanda Dayosho, Patachara Panchasa Talsadasi Dayosho, who overcame great grief. Buddha Kundala Kesa Dayosho, Sumana Dayosho, who nursed others. Kisa Gotami Dayosho, who sought the mustard seed. Dhamma Dayosho, whose husband refused to allow. Upalavana Dayosho, who was a victim of violence. Soma Dayosho, Sakula Dayosho, Bada Kapilani Dayosho, Singha Laka Mata Dayosho, Shamavati Dayosho, Sangha Metta Teri Dayosho, Prasanna Sila Dayosho, Jinyan Dayosho, Mayoran Dayosho, Twining Vine of Bodhidharma, Empress Wu Dayosho, Laywoman Ling Xiao Dayosho, Ling Jing Po Dayosho, Moshan Yoran Dayosho, Luti Mo Dayosho, Miao Xin Dayosho, Shiji Dayosho, Juhan Daojian Dayosho, Hui Guang Dayosho, Hui Wen Dayosho, Fa Deng Dayosho, Yu Zhao Po Dayosho, Xi Dong Dayosho, Wen Xiao Dayosho, Miao Hui Dayosho, Ji Song Xin Shi Dayosho, Ji Fu Sukui Dayosho, Shen Yi Dayosho, Zenshin Dayosho, Empress Komyo Dayosho, Ryonen Dayosho, Shogaku Dayosho, Igi Dayosho, disciple and nurse of Eihei Dogen Dayosho, Kakuzan Shido Dayosho, Ikan Dayosho, Abbess and mother of Keizan Dayosho, Konto Ekkyu Dayosho, first among Soto women heirs in Japan, Mokufu Sonin Dayosho, Soitsu Dayosho, Eishun Dayosho, who transcended physical beauty, Yodo Dayosho, Kodai-in Dayosho, Sho Shinni Daio Sho Tenshu Daio Sho Daitsu Bunchi Daio Cho Tachibana no Someko Daio Sho Tokugon Riho Daio Sho Taijitsu Daio Sho Utogaki Rengetsu Daio Sho Mizuno Tenmyo Jorin Daio Sho Hori Metsujo Daio Sho Nagasawa Sozen Daio Sho Kendo Kojima Daio Sho, and all who sought reforms and equality. Kasai Joshin Daio Sho, who brought sowing of the Keiza to the west. Ruth Eryu Joke Fula Daio Sho, Hoen Jiu Daio Sho, Jiho Sergeant Daio Sho. We dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times, and to all other honored ones throughout history, same yet diverse honored ones, whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. May we appreciate their benevolence and show our gratitude by realizing the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita. Thank you all so much for coming and for staying for the Women's Ancestor recitation. I really appreciate it, and as I say, it's an auspicious day, being Rohats as well as our normal full moon, so I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all really soon. Okay, take care.